up, world? Welcome to another installment of the Water Pod, man. It's another great night. I got another great guest, a dope dude from the local scene that I just met recently. But you know, you know how I get down, man. I look at talent and I see talent and I see dope individuals with great minds that are doing something positive and doing something that they believe in and other people believe in. And if I believe in it, then I like to have him on. So without further ado, man, my boy, it's more than music, Shayne Sanders. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
Oh man, just chilling, just chilling. You know it. Uh, like I said in the intro, man, I've been following this dude for a little while now, man. He's been a great supporter of mine and ours and Mason Jar Music, but it's just like a vibe where feed off each other. You see what people are doing and how they're grinding and how they're trying to make a way and make a name for themselves. So what got you into music, man? What is the whole more than music thing? Is it literally more than music for you?
Yeah, so first question, what got me into music? I started writing like in probably like ninth grade, and then dad bought me like a little stupid little recording thing and for Christmas, and I started recording in the garage. Sounded terrible, but yeah, I started writing, and I really just started writing to become, because it was a way for me to like kind of say what I couldn't say,
Right.
like through talking.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of artists, is probably why they start writing. But
Yeah.
and then More Than Music came along years later. I stopped writing, and then I got back into it really right after my best friend died. I just kind of
That's
feel
tough.
like I hit rock bottom and didn't have anything else other than music at that point. And then I wish I had a cool story, but it was just something I started saying and it stuck.
Yeah.
Because it really was more than music. Like, it was a way for me to, like I said, say what I couldn't say.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I connected with it because I've always, so I do poetry and I rap and all that kind of thing, but I've always said I have rhyme, because you know how they say there's no rhyme or reason or whatever. Well, I've always said that I have rhyme with reason. So more than music, definitely like felt like it was kind of in that same vein. So that's why I was asking about it, because to me, I've had, you said your best friend died. Well, when I was young, man, before I had my first son, well, he was my first son. I lost my first son. So me and my wife, we lost a child. So I went, that really like pushed me into music even more heavily, because I always like rapped and wrote and stuff like that. And like my mom, growing up, we didn't argue. Like we had this thing where if we had a disagreement, I'd wake up, there'd be a note on my pillow, and she would just pour out her feelings, and then boom, then I would get the rebuttal with a note. So that's what kind of got me into writing, and I think that she just connected with me in that way because I wrote poetry. I used to write stories, and I was always like big into that. I don't know, probably for a lot of the same reasons that most people get into it. It's just like it's a way to escape from your reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you said that your pops got you a notebook. Is that what you said?
No, he bought me like my first like recording yeah.
Thing. Okay, I'm sorry. So your pops got you that. Was there other inspirations, like musically, what inspired you to be who you are? Because if you don't know Shayne, after this podcast, please go check him out. But he does music that's different than the normal Charleston music. So that's why I really like him and I dig the music, because I felt like I always did something different. So, you know, I feel a little like-minded in that sense. But yeah, is that what got you in and what made you love music so that you have that difference to you?
Actually, my my older brother, he's I think 7 years older than me, 7 or 8 years older than me, and he used to rap back in the day. Him and his friend, and they were like kind of big, I guess, locally. But you know, I was the little brother looking up to my older brother, and I think that's probably why I got into it. And then yeah, just loved to write.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably it, to be honest. My brother.
Were there any like musical inspirations as far as like outside of your brother and stuff? But I just mean like you know, do you like Blink 182? Do you like Lil Wayne? Do you, or is it a combination of like all these things?
I've always liked music, but no, I like all kinds of music though. It's
Do
funny
you?
you say Lil Wayne. My earliest memory of like wanting to be a rapper was I was in like fourth grade and it was the song Hustler's Music,
Yeah.
and I used to sit there like pretending I was rapping on stage, and yeah, that was my jam.
Well, that's what's up, man. I mean, Lil Wayne's always been the GOAT to me, and people probably, I mean, go
Man,
ahead, bash me in the comments if you want to. I don't care, man. That dude, I mean, double, triple, quadruple entendres on top of entendres. So, and if, I think you're a little younger than me, but if you came up in the 2000s, bro, Lil Wayne was just on fire.
yeah.
Like the mid 2000s, 2005, 2006, like he was on everything. So, even before that, I mean, Wayne's just been awesome since Hot Boys. So, um, you said your best friend died, man, and I mentioned a little bit about my son. But when people are going through things like that, like did music help you get you through, or what really helped get you through? Was there like did you have some other friends that banded together and showed what friendship's about, or anything like that, or did your parents get there for you, or
Yeah, I mean, everybody was there for me, but the only thing that got me through was I had a son. If I didn't have a son, I don't hate to be morbid, but I probably would have just.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that was.
No, man, that's real. That's how a lot of people feel, man, when you lose somebody that close to you. So,
Yeah, no, yeah. Having a son and a wife, and then music. Really, I mean, I
yeah.
mean, at that point, all I had was my wife and son and music, and
Well, what
yeah.
would you say to somebody that might be going through something like that, lost their best friend and they don't have a wife or a son? Like, what's something that maybe you wish somebody would have said to you or done for you? Or I know there's really nothing that anyone can say or do, but like, would you tell somebody, give them the advice to write or reflect or think what that person would want you to do with your life or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if writing's your thing, then write. But honestly, the only thing I don't think you can really give someone advice in that situation because I mean, nothing really helps to be honest with you, but time.
right.
Only thing I'd say is, I mean, eventually, I wouldn't even say it gets better, but it gets easier, I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I always say that too. Like people say it gets better with time, but it just doesn't. It doesn't really get better. It just
it's like you get numb.
yeah, you just learn to deal with it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that's just how that goes. But I don't know, man. I didn't want this podcast to take a dark turn like that. So we'll come back to that. But positively, like what I guess because I just had Los on here, and I know that a lot of people that when they've had rough times or been through rough things, they seem to be happy. Like those people come out more happy and more positive. It seems like not all the time. Obviously, there's always a exception to the rule, but you the times I've met you, the way I listen to your music, it just seems like you're a very positive dude. Do you feel like the negative things that's happened in your life get you to be positive, or are you just being positive because it helps you forget about the negative things in your life? I don't. Where's the balance in that?
Um, I just, I mean, there's no point in being negative, you know?
Yeah.
It's better to be positive about the future and be wrong than be negative about the future and be right, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
And then, I don't know, I mean, I got a son and I look back at, I mean, he was like 1.5 when all that happened, and then, I don't know, I don't want to be that dad that's like sad all the time,
Yeah, yeah.
and I don't know.
Yeah, you lost
Choose to be
somebody.
happy,
You
you
don't
know?
want your son to lose someone. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like that's facts. That's what I was gonna say when you said that earlier. It's just like whenever something like that happens, you can either choose for one life to be lost or two, and that's
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
still have one. So definitely.
Yeah, I got it. My first tattoo was it's in Latin, but in English it means "not all of me will die,"
Right.
and that's why I got it because
Yeah.
part of me's dead, but
Yeah, but not the whole thing. Like
yeah,
I'm gonna use this other part. I like to see that you are using that other part. I saw that you just dropped that Dreamer song, man.
yes,
How you liking that,
I
man?
like it. It was a
It's a fun
different
record.
genre. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'm having a
Yeah.
lot of fun with this. So I started in rap, but kind of been diving into the pop punk thing, and it's fun, man. It's fun to
Yeah,
write and record and perform.
I like it too, man. I like it a lot. I think it. That's why I was asking if you had any like alternative rock inspirations or anything like that, like bands you liked or whatever. But because I mean, not that you sound like any of those, but
Not
it's
yet.
just like it seems like to me it fits you better than because your rap's dope too, but it always had a little bit of that in it too. To me, like the hooks always had like melody
Yeah.
and kind of like a pop rock funk vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? So, what is that kind of like? Do you? I guess are you going that route or are you just kind of going into the studio and like whatever you're feeling that day or what's your process?
I just when I find a beat I like, I write.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all there
it.
is to it. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep doing this, but I mean, I'm always gonna rap too, and I don't know, I just do whatever I want to do,
Okay.
and that's what.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's how I get down too, man. I like to wherever the beat takes me, man. I
Yeah.
don't like to have any like constraints on what my art and what I'm trying to do. So that's exactly how I like to go at it too, man. And so by the time this drops, we'll have performed at an awesome show, and I hope that all y'all were there, and y'all be like, "Yo, they're talking about the show that we were at. That show was fire." So like that's what I'm hoping. But I know that with the show, it's your album release party. So how many songs are on the album?
9,
9 songs, okay. And
pretty
how
sure.
many of them are in this vein?
Um,
Would you say majority or
yeah, some of them are a
majority?
little like less poppy punky, I guess, but Dreamer was pretty pop punky.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
probably like 4 or 5 of them are like hardcore pop punk, and some of them are like just pop, really, and
Yeah,
less of
just
the.
more into the median.
Yeah, every
Yeah,
song's
yeah.
different. That's why I like it though. It's good. People are gonna like it, I think. I
Yeah,
hope.
yeah. Well, I can't wait on it, man. I'm ready to hear it, man. So who knows? Maybe I'll get a little sneak peek after the pod. You know what I mean? But I like what you're doing, man. I like the positivity. You know what I mean? And I like the anxious energy too, cause I'm always anxious. So
So anxious.
you know what I mean? But you ain't got nothing to be anxious about, bro. You got good art. You got good talent, and I see you going far, man. I really do. Because, for one, the positive attitude, bro, is like top notch. You know what I mean? Like, you can't teach that. You can't teach people to have that positivity in them. And, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you don't put nobody up on their guard. You're just like, look, man, I make good music. If you make good music, then, like, let's make good music. Let's enjoy life. And that's real dope, man. And I know you said you've said a few times that you got a son, but you also have a daughter, right?
Yes.
So I pay attention. So I've noticed you mentioned your son a few times because I feel like you're trying to be a good man and a role model and a father to him. But I have a son and a daughter too. So like how was that to you? Like being a dad to a daughter, because it sounds like you
Mm.
got the man thing figured out, but what about the daughter thing? That's a different breed sometimes, ain't
That's probably like the scariest thing in the world,
it? Yeah.
and you get it, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like the most beautiful, but it's terrifying. It is,
Right.
but
At the
I
same
love
time.
it. I always tell people, like all my friends, I think every man needs a little girl.
Yeah. Changes your perspective on life 100%, dude.
Yeah.
Like them boys, you're just like, man, rub some dirt in it. Them
Yeah.
girls are like, who's I gotta rub some dirt in, like who caused this? I'm going to find them, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So uh yeah, man, but are either one of your kids like musically inclined, do you feel like? Or is that like I know you said your brother did some rapping and stuff, but is there any musicality in your family at all? Or
My little sister sings. She'll be at the show. I
yeah,
got
yeah, that's right.
three
Yeah,
songs with her so far.
yeah,
Um, Now other than that, no. Well, I mean, there's like a lot of my family paints and draws and stuff. So there's art in my family, but
yeah.
not on music.
That's kind of the same with me, man. Like I got a lot of people that can draw, they can write, they can,
Yeah.
but I don't have anybody like play instruments. Like I'm the only one that's like ever had a studio at his house or instruments or microphones. So I'm like the black sheep when it comes to that. So, um, like I said, the show will be over when we get there. But what's something that you hope for the show, and something that we can reflect on later? You know, like, are you just hoping for a good turnout? You hoping that?
Yeah, I hope a lot of people come, and I hope this is like my first. I mean, I've done a lot of shows, but this is like my first show. You know, where like I booked the venue and I booked the DJ, I made the flyer,
Right.
you know, I did everything. So I'm hoping a lot of people come. More than anything, I hope everybody enjoys it,
There you go.
and
That's
I
what I
hope
was
the
about to
venue
say.
calls me back. You know, at the end of the day, that's the goal, right?
Hey man, I'm glad you're getting into Rebel Taqueria, man. My couple of dudes that play in a band with me, they play in a cover band that they do they're called Getaway Bronco. Go check out Getaway Bronco. That's
Heard
my
that.
boys, man. Not just a couple of dudes play in Mason Jar with me, and we own a business together. There's a couple in there that I know are cool friends of mine. And then there's a couple in there that are like my brothers, man. The twins, Adam and Ben. They're from the Hooplas. Shout out to Hooplas, man. I'm just gonna shout everybody out, man. Whatever, but they played it a few times at Rebel Taqueria, and I've been wanting to get in there because it's a dope little venue, man. It's
Very
a dope
cool.
spot, and it's a good spot for like diversity, man. Like that little area is real cool. That part of town because they like rock, they like rap, they like pop, they like maybe country. I probably not. I don't know, but I love country, so maybe they'll have a country singer there at some point. But I think it's dope that you're getting in there because that's a good vibe. Like there, and the Poorhouse. I know you've played there. Like you've played at a lot of the spots that I've wanted to play at, like the Poorhouse, Purple Buffalo. Like I've been wanting to get into. I've done a couple poetry things at the Purple Buffalo, but I'm just trying to correlate the fact that like these are eclectic, like super good spots to go for your type of art. You know what I mean? Like if you go to the Purple Buffalo, the Poorhouse, Rebel Taqueria, like people are really gonna fuck with your style of art. So I my hope for your show is that you got the turnout, but I hope that there's just because it has a built-in crowd, and I just hope that the built-in crowd really gets to see your art and you get some new fans. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm gonna be there too, so I hope we gain some new fans and stuff like that. But you know, I don't know, man. I'm getting old, bro, and I love music, and I'll always be a part of music. But that's why I'm doing a podcast now, and I'm trying to like I just want to shed light on everybody's talent around town, man. So I really appreciate you coming on to give me your 2 cents on the scene. Who's some artists locally that you would like to work with, or some artists globally you would like to work with? Like, do you have some people that Is there some producers? Like, you don't gotta say locally. We ain't gotta do all that. But what's just like a vibe, or you can say locally. I'm just saying.
All right, we'll do some local artists. My guy Hezzy, I love him. I got one song with him, but he's like the only person out of my circle that really like knew me way back in the day. So he's dope, and I'd love to keep working with him. Indie Gold, I'd love to do a song with him. And you mentioned all these venues that I performed at that you want to perform at. That's because of Indie Gold. He got me in the Poorhouse. He got me in the Rebel.
Yeah.
So he's that guy. And then like globally, I think if I had like a punch list of artists I'd like to work with, it'd be like Joyner Lucas, Russ, of course Russ, he's my favorite. J. Cole.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, if I could just have those three, I'd be. And then
Ooh.
Kodak just for the fun.
Yeah.
Just for the studio session.
Kodak's the man, bro. But I like the three you named, man. Like when you said Russ, like I wasn't it. I don't want to say I wasn't expecting it, but I was pleasantly surprised because I'm a huge Russ fan too. I like Russ a lot, man.
Very good.
Yeah, he's real good, real good. But I like I guess I had to reword it because I think I asked you a couple times who inspires you, and you just kind of was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But then now you got them three artists, and I'm like, okay, now I see who inspires you. Like Joyner, Cole, and Russ. Those are three great inspirations right there, man. And then you named Indie Gold and Hezzy. Like I don't know a lot from Hezzy. That's what you said, Hezzy the Kid, right?
Hezzy the Kid, yep.
Yeah, I don't know a lot from him, but if you co-signed, then I'm gonna have to check him out for sure. Well, you're gonna be at the show, so Yeah, hopefully y'all are at the show and y'all listen to this back and be like, yeah, man, Hezzy was fire, Indy was fire, but Indy, I've known. I don't want to say I've known Indy for a long time, Indy Gold for a long time, but um, I have. You know, like we've been acquaintances and we've done shows, multiple shows together, and we always are like, we perform and then we talk and it's like, yo, let's do a song, let's get together, and then you know how it goes, like you going to, you doing your thing, they doing their thing, and
Yeah.
it's not that like you don't want to work together, because I love to work with Indy. So hopefully, man, when I see him this time, we'll chop it up because I want to have him on the podcast. So I'll probably lock that in this weekend.
Yeah, you should.
That'll be what I'll try to do for sure. And I'm hoping to network with people, man. I'm ready. I'm gonna have a good time. Like I'm thankful that you got us on, man. Like I said, just the mutual respect is always good to see in the local scene, man. I like to see that. I like to see people working together and trying to make a way for Charleston music. Cause is that like your ultimate goal, man? Is just to, you know, get on and act like you don't know nobody else? No, I'm just joking. But is that what you're pushing for, man? Obviously, we're all artists and we all want to be the biggest name in the world. Is like, is that what fuels you, or are you just more fueled by the need to write and the need to put out a good product and the right people will receive it, kind of thing?
Yeah, no, that's a good question because I mean, in a perfect world, I like to make millions of dollars off my music, but um, I think like a realistic goal. I always say like I want to be the artist that I needed growing up, and that's kind of why I kept making music. You know, I mean, I could get by just writing music and not recording and not putting anything out, but I want to be able to put
Yeah,
stuff out, and I want people to receive it. And you know, I get messages every now and then like, "Hey, your music speaks to me," and you know, help me out in this hard time, and that shit is worth more than
yeah, that's worth
a
its weight
record
in
deal or
gold, man.
anything.
Like that's the main thing an artist want to hear. So
Yeah, no, and then also I want to like be able to, God forbid, if something ever happens to me, my kids can listen to my music.
yeah,
My voice will always be there. You know, I wrote songs for them. I don't know. It's just something that lives forever.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good way to look at it, man. Like, cause that's how I kind of look at it. Like, many songs as I can have, that'll be, you know, I want to be like Tupac when I die. Like, they make a whole album out of stuff I ain't even released, 6 albums out of stuff I ain't released. So that's what I try to do for sure. But yeah, dude, it's as far as like musical goals and stuff like that, you know, I'm kind of in the same boat with you. Like, I just want something that's gonna resonate with people and
Yeah.
stick with them. And I was gonna say, for people out there watching, you know, indie artists and underground artists and artists that are starving artists trying to make it, you know, like, um, go out, go out to a show, man. Share their music, like it, like give it a listen, man. Give honest feedback. You know what I mean? Like, we're not, most people. If you come to me honestly and say, man, I liked it, but I didn't like this, like, I'm not gonna change my shit because it's my shit. Like, I'm gonna keep doing what I do, but I'm gonna listen to it. I'm not gonna call you a hater. But the main thing is like, as artists that are trying to come up, you don't know how much it means just for somebody to share your music. Because I've been at the bottom where, like, I've been all the way down where nobody's liking my music, nobody's pushing my music, nobody's sharing my music, nobody's buying my albums or merch. Like, all the way at the bottom of the barrel, I've been as high as I could go with the tools I had and the scene I was in. I've been people buying, you know what I'm saying, like making a couple $1,000s a night selling merch and this and that, you know, like, been there. But either time it could have taken, just like, even when there was selling a lot of merch, there was always that one person that came to you and was just like, yo, this song did this or did that. And even when I wasn't selling anything or doing anything, or there was only 3 people in the crowd, as long as one of them came up to me and was just like, dude, good job, like this and that, like just some kind of feedback and some kind of support, it just goes so far. So I hope that y'all come out and do that for these artists, man. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to shed a light, get to know you more, man. So how did you grow up? Like maybe we can get your fans to get more of a insight into you. Are you from South Carolina always and born and bred?
Yes. I grew up on James Island, Charleston, South
Okay,
Carolina.
so you a homer. You
Yeah,
stayed, never left. That's like me, bro. Never left.
so fun.
How was growing up though? I mean, I know you said so. Like I said, I try to recall most of it that I can. You got a brother at, that's 7 or 8 years older than you. You got obviously you got a sister. Which, by the way, I'm sorry that when I asked about your family, I wasn't trying to exclude her because she's dope. I've listened to her and I like her vibe too. She's got a lot. She's got a very positive and spunky, funky vibe. So that's cool. I think like the more and more she gets to know herself and her art, she's gonna be real good because that's what it's really about. Like once you get to, it takes to me it takes a solid amount of years, 5, 6, 7 years of doing your art before you really come into your own and you're like, yo, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. So I think she's gonna blossom when she hits that, you know. But so you got a little sister, you got an older brother. Is there other siblings other than that?
Yeah, I have two little sisters, an older brother. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got two little sisters and an older brother, and all y'all grew up in the same household, or your older brother was kind of,
Um,
or
no,
is the
so
gap too big? Your older brother was kind of moved out before the
no, he
little
was
one.
there. Abby, my sister, we actually have different moms, so we weren't actually really close until the last couple of years.
Okay.
And then my other little sister, Samantha, we were like 18 months apart, so she was like my best friend my whole life. And then yeah, my brother was always there. He was like the dad of the house. Like my parents divorced when I was 6, I think, so he was
Okay.
like the male role model, I guess, at the beginning. Not my dad's great,
Yeah.
greatest man
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my brother was around a lot, so
Yeah, and a
we
little
were
bit
real
older
close.
than you, so he was trying to just show you the ropes a little bit. So, yeah, I think my parents got divorced when I was like 11, but so, you know, that's, I feel like I ran into the same thing with Lowe's. So I was asking so many like questions that led to those type of situations, and then I'm gonna be like, so what, so what got you into music? Well, my parents divorced when I was 6, and my best friend died, and so it's like all these things is like, why am I even asking some of these questions? Because if I'm like, what makes you push hard and be positive, and then like those are the answers, you know, like to me, like those childhood traumas and trying to figure out and deal with some of the things along the way, you know, like you were 6, and I'm sure that was just like a crazy thing to go through because it was for me when I was 10. I was probably 10. My brother was 8, so little bit older than you, so, and my brother too. So I might probably understood it maybe a little more, but you don't really get it when you're a kid. You don't understand the complexities of what separates people, you know, and so it's it's cool that it sounds like your brother. I mean, you haven't spoke much about him other than a few things, but it's cool that you say that he taught you some things. You know what I mean? Maybe some good, some bad, but he taught you some stuff. So that's good, man. It's always good to have a role model. So with your music, is that something? I know you said you want to reach people and touch people and people to receive it well. Do you see yourself mentoring in the future and some younger artists and helping people be positive, or you just like that's not really your thing?
Um, no, I'd love to do that. I like writing. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd get my sister to commit herself, and I
Yeah,
would just write her music and help her, and because I feel like she got a little head start having me, you know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, I'd love to help younger artists. Yeah, and I'd love to write. That's something. Actually, that's the main reason I did a little genre. I got songs I never released that are like singing and all that because if I don't work out as an artist, at least I got like a catalog where I can be like, look, here's this country song I wrote. Here's
Oh
this
yeah, yeah,
punk song I wrote. Here's
yeah,
this. So yeah, no, I'd love to work with younger artists and help out
yeah.
for sure.
That's something that I've been kicking around, you know, like my nephew, bro. I'll show you when we get off of here, but he's super dope, man. Like it's crazy. He's 18 and like I don't know. He writes his stuff, but everything he writes is ridiculous, man. It's like so layered. It's like I don't even know how you're 18 and you understand what you're talking about.
That's
You
cool.
know what I mean? But cuz me, I'm like somebody who catches every bar and every like I'm just like that. Like that's what I'm listening for. I'm not listening to most of the time like I like a good beat and all that, but I'm like if you ain't got something to say, bro, it's just like what are we
Yeah.
doing? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what are we doing? So but um that's cool that you're writing for your sister and hopefully I mean hopefully she takes your advice because that's what you know it's hard as the older brother the younger siblings never take advice. You probably didn't take your brother's advice
Probably
too
not.
well most of the time. But I'm the older brother, so I can attest to that like no matter you'll always be the older brother, you always be the father figure, you always
Yeah.
be the guy that's coming down on me over something. But I hope she does take your advice because you got some dope records already. And if you're like me, like I think my dopest records haven't been recorded yet. It's like I just ain't got the voice for it, or I ain't got the, you know what I mean? Like I've got songs written that if I had a girl that could sing it, then
Yeah.
it would be fire. But if I have to go in there and sing it, it's not gonna be that great. So that's real cool, man. Do you do you have like are you dropping some merch with the album and the single, or are you just keeping it old school, bringing the albums? How are you releasing the album? Let's start with that because we
Oh,
talked about the album. You going just straight digital with the album?
yeah. I'll probably get some CDs made up, but I don't think people like CDs no more. I did that with
Nah,
my last two albums, and
yeah, CDs are gone. That's why our last one we did the
yeah.
little flash drives or whatever, but it's still kind of like everybody's on streaming, man.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the route to go. But you know, are you planning on dropping some music videos?
I do. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
planning on dropping a few throughout 2023
yeah.
to the album. Yeah. Um,
Is Dreamer gonna be one of them, or are
I think
you?
so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
yeah. What's kind of? I mean, not to give it away or nothing, but you haven't shot it yet. So like, what is Dreamer about? Like, I'm obviously it's about being a dreamer and all that, but what's the inspiration behind it, and maybe what would be like a concept that you could see like visually, like if you were trying to give somebody a visual interpretation of what Dreamer was, what is it like?
So Dreamer kind of embodies like I was kind of told I was a little crazy the whole time. I was like, I'm gonna be a rapper. I'm gonna go sing
Yeah.
songs and make a bunch of money. Everybody tells you you're stupid and you're crazy, but I think I'm doing all right. So I think if I had to create like a visual, it would be kids sitting in class, talking about his dream job and everybody laughing at him, telling him he's crazy, and then, here we are.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of why I wrote Dreamer and the whole album. There's a couple songs on there that go with that theme. I feel like growing up, I feel like you shouldn't tell people that they can't do something. I mean, obviously some things are a little far fetched, but fuck it. What's the worst that's gonna
Yeah,
happen?
yeah, exactly. Like what you I used to tell my kids when I would like not my personal children, but my son growing up, I coached him in basketball and soccer and different sports, but especially in basketball, I used to tell my kids all the time because there'd be kids who weren't as good as the other kids or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, bro, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Period. 100%. If you don't take that shot, there's 100% chance you missing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you take the shot, you might have a 20% chance of making it, but you got a 20% chance. Like, we're going up, you know? Like, if you're on zero, bro, then you're going to be stuck on zero. So, like, I agree with you. I never like when people say, like, you only got a 5% chance of making it or this or that. I'm like, bro, the percentages work for math. You know what I'm saying? Like if I got a bottle of water and I only got 10% of that water left, that's all I got. You know what I mean? Like I can't but whenever to me like percentages don't work on real life things like becoming a rapper. Like if they're like, oh, you only got a 5% chance of becoming a rapper, or less than that. Probably. I mean, if we're being realistic, point zero 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 0.0005, whatever. But that might be true statistically, but in the world, miracles occur. Things happen. You know what I mean? Like people hit the lottery. Like, what's the chance of hitting the lottery?
Yeah, yeah.
You
That
know,
and
but
there's different levels of making it. Like I've said it before on Facebook. Like I feel if today is like as high as I go with the music, I have years of shows with people I love. I have songs with people I respect. I have, and like I said earlier, I have catalog of music that if something happens to me, my kids like I already made it. I could make it farther, but I'm if this is it, then I'm good. Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
that's the best way that's the best way to look at it, man. Because if you don't look at it that way, man, then that's how I guess that's how you keep a positive attitude, man. Because that's the only way to look at it. Is like I've succeeded. Like I got new goals all the time. You know what I mean? So like I've attained. That's how I look at it. It's like I look back and I'm like I attained all these goals, and yeah, I still got goals, but I can't refute the fact that
Yeah.
I've done these. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, if it ends right here, then I don't look at it like I never got this or that or this or
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna look like I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. You know what I mean? So that's cool, man.
Yeah.
About midway through the episode now, and I meant to talk about it earlier, but you know, we're gonna talk about it now. You hooked me up with the art. I'm sure y'all seen the art hanging around. He hooked me up with Damra. She's with Creative Days, so go check out her Facebook, her socials. I think on Etsy, she said it was Creative Days Art. So she's on there. She said pieces like this cost. You can commission her, but you know, most of her pieces she said are between $50 and $75, depending on the amount of work. You know, obviously you could scale it up or whatever. So I thought the art was super dope. This actually, I don't have a black light in here, but she showed me. You put the black light on it, it glows, and she's doing some real cool stuff now. She's like doing 3D art. So she does stuff like this, but then like the headphones will actually be like popped out. Well, it's headphones and a smiley face, which I thought was super creative. It's not upside down. It's right side up, you know. We turned the frown upside down. That's what we did. So shout out to her with Creative Days. Please look at it. She had a jellyfish one the jellyfish one was super sick, and that's the one I wanted, but I felt like the smiley face headphones fit the vibe of the podcast. So I borrowed this from her. It's for sale. So if y'all want it, talk to her. If not, I might buy it. You know what I'm saying? But talk to her, Damra, Creative Days. Shout out to Shayne for putting us together, because that's what I'm trying to do, man. I really want everybody just to have an opportunity to shine and thrive, and I hope that even if it's small, man, like come on, I'm a realist. I'm just starting out this podcast. I'm not getting a million views or nothing like that, but I know that all my people that support me, they really support me. And when they support me, they support other people. So that's why I'm bringing other people into the mix, like Damra, that y'all can support dope local art. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want a piece for your house, like think about your local artist first instead of going into TJ Maxx or Home Goods and spending $30 on a mass produced print that a million people have in their house. Commission her and get you something unique for your studio, your house, wherever. So appreciate that. Appreciate you doing that, man. You said you know her through your engineer.
Yes.
I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name because I might mess it
Asen.
up. But Asen,
Asen.
Asen. Yeah, he's like I said. I see him on Facebook all the time and all that, and I'm like, I want to meet him, but I don't want to fuck his name up when I meet him. So I'm glad you told me, but I'm sure he gets that all the time, man. Damra had to tell me her how to pronounce Damra with the camera. She had to give me that because I was like, I totally was going to fuck her name up too, because I was going Damara, or so. But people mess up my last name all the time. They call me Whiteledge. Shit, they call me Rutledge all the time. Like, where the hell they get Rutledge? I don't have no W or I don't know R in my name. So, Shayne, sh- speaking of names, is that how did you add the Y to your name, or that's how it
That
goes?
was my mom's fault. My mom did that, and I'm grateful, but it
Yeah.
creates some difficulties in my life. I got to spell my name out every time I say it. I'm Shayne, Shayne.
Hey, that's my wife. Her name is Raven, but her mom, instead of putting Rave she put A in.
Yeah, she got to
So
spell it every time.
all our taxes, our marriage license, everything, her name is E-N instead of
Yeah.
A-N. So I'm like, we ain't even really married. Who is Raven? I got Ravan. So I know you said you and your wife been together. Well, not wife yet. We're gonna change that soon. I don't know her name yet. What's her name?
CC.
CC.
Yeah.
We gonna change that. CC. We gonna make an honest man out of him. And I'm just, he's like, you gonna do me like this on the podcast? But how does that go with music? Because I don't think I've asked anybody this yet. So I'd like to, I hate that I'm putting you on the spot with it, but I know with my wife, there's been difficulties throughout with just being in a relationship and having kids and doing the music. So you feel like you do a good job of like balancing that, or you, because I felt like there was times where they had to sacrifice a lot. Do you feel like they do sacrifice a lot, or you do a good job of balancing it, or
Um, I don't think my kids notice as much. Well, my son, he actually is always. I'm like, I'm going to the studio, and you go there every week. But no, she's great. There's one rule, and it's no bitches, and you can do what you want.
hey,
And
that's a good rule.
so yeah, there's no bitches, and no, she's great. She lets me do what I want, as long as I'm, not putting myself in danger or
Yeah.
messing with the hood rats.
Yeah, as long as you're not putting y'all in danger or you in danger,
That's
then
right.
you're
Yeah, no,
good. Yeah.
she's good with it. And
Okay. But as far as the time and the demand it has, she's been supported through that. Like, I think that's huge, man, because I know for me, like juggling, being a father, being a business owner, being a husband, being a friend to people as well as doing everything else I do is like super hard to juggle sometimes because it's like if I'm doing music, I'm not like my kids need to spend time with me, but my wife wants to spend time with me. Then I got all my homeboys hitting me up like, "Yo, what we doing?" And well, da da da. It's like, and then on top of that, I'm trying to like do a podcast, record songs, get them mixed down, like go to support other people that have art that
yeah,
aren't my family or friends. So it's like 90 things that I gotta try to juggle in order to just and I feel like I'm not giving anyone of enough time, and especially music. Like you got to give music so much time, and it's like, but you can only give it so much before it's like, dang. Well, what about how much they're sacrificing for me to
yeah.
do these things? So, you ever feel caught in the middle sometimes like that, or you got a good system?
No, I mean I do. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifice. I guess a lot of time that I spend doing music, but uh, my wife, girlfriend, she's like a fucking superhero. So
Yeah, that's dope.
I think if she wasn't as awesome as she is, it would probably put more strain on
Oh, dude.
being a father. But
Bro, I know people done quit rapping over women now. Bunch of them. So,
I bet I can
yeah.
imagine.
Just because it's like, nah. Well, like you said, like, if you get wrapped up in that life of, uh, you know, I'm the cool guy now, so I'm gonna be talking to girls at the shows and which there's a difference between somebody who's a genuine fan and supporter and somebody who's like
Hood
attracted
rat,
to the yeah,
hood
that's
rat.
for lack of a better term, exactly. Somebody who's just attracted to the person on the stage and trying to, at all costs, no matter if you have a woman or you're in a relationship, they're there strictly because they want some of that light that you have. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you gotta learn to know the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like especially when you're in a relationship, or like me, or like or us, when you got kids and you're in a long relationship, it's like you got to figure out quick, like these are supporters and fans, and you got to be cordial with everybody. But that does there's been times where it's hard to like be like, look, I don't want to be mean, because
Yeah.
I don't want to ever turn somebody away from my music or being a fan, but you got to have boundaries, you know? And especially being local artists, like we're not big artists, so you can't be like um, Drake or somebody and be like, yo, I don't, as soon as I'm done rapping, like I got security taking me out. I don't need to talk to people. I already got fans. So like us, we're like, we want to perform and we want to go talk to everybody, and hand to hand with the merchandise and talk to them about the music, and like especially coming up, like you want to be personable with people. You want people to feel like they know you, and like that's what gets them to follow you as an artist, which is like the big part of the reason I started this podcast, because I want people to like get to know my guests a lot better. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I'm hoping people get to learn about you. You know, learn about your two little sisters, your older brother, your mom and dad getting divorced at 6 years old. You losing your best friend. Like you want me to do the whole recap? I got
No doubt.
it. But yeah, so I'm hoping like that people pay attention the way that I'm trying to pay attention, and like, cause I'm genuinely curious about how someone like you from James Island, that's been through some things, and has that positive attitude, and has that makes those dope songs. So do you feel like you have to work at being positive, or is it just something that kind of comes naturally to you?
No, I'm very depressed, anxious person. I read something online a long time ago and it stuck with me, and it's like I choose to be happy because it's good for my health, and
Nice.
that's like the realest shit. No, I'm a very depressed person. You know, I wake up and I'm the type of person that like once I'm in a bad mood, like I'm not gonna be in a good mood until I go to sleep and I wake up again. It's like a fucking switch in my head or something like
Yeah.
that. So no, I gotta really work on being positive. But like I said earlier, man, I mean I'd rather be positive and be wrong than negative and right.
Yeah.
You know.
My wife deals with anxiety real bad too, man. I I've I never knew what it was until, I don't know. It's been years. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I had like my first anxiety attack, and I was like, whoa. So this is what like this shit's about, because I never had one of them before. So, and then it from time to time, like I'll have them. You know, I'll get anxiety. So I understand it more now. I'm still not like, if somebody says they suffer from depression and anxiety, I'm never like, well, yeah, I feel like I know what you mean, because I don't know what you mean. I don't know what she means, because I'm more of like a very mellow, easygoing, like nothing gets to me. I'm never like, I don't want to say I'm never scared, but you'll never know I'm scared. You'll never know I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I'm just very even keel most of the time. So but I do understand it in the sense of, me and my wife been together for like I told you earlier, like 20 something years, and she's always been anxious and had anxiety. So what's one way that you've learned to cope with that,
Dude.
having that? Because a lot of people, it seems very more prevalent in this day and age. So
Yeah. Um. Well, I think this day and age, a lot of people just like to be. It's kind
well,
of like
it's, yeah.
cool, you know what I
Well, you
mean?
have it, so you're allowed to say that. I can't say it, but I agree with you in
I'm not saying
on that.
everybody now.
No,
Some
no, no. I
people are
agree
dealing
with
with some
you,
shit,
but
but
I do agree with you, because I feel like a lot of times people um, always want to, like, they want to label everything. They want to put everyone in a box, and they want to like, and I don't want to say people are faking or lying about it, but it's just like, I don't think everybody's like depressed. Somebody might just, you know
Be
what I
sad,
mean,
yeah.
might just be sad and you'll get over it. But like, they just want to like label it so quick and be like, here's some medicine, like you'll be okay. I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
No, I agree with that
But is there a
100%.
way that like you can is there a way to cope with it? How do you cope with it? Is that why you started making music? Or not why you started, but does music help you with that? Your
Yes.
kids, things like that?
Music is probably, yeah. So like performing live helped a lot with that. Um, like in school, I would skip class the days that I had to present shit. Like I was not going in front of that class to
Yeah.
talk, but now I can stand on stage and sing songs to people. But so that helped a lot. And then I don't know, you just fake it till you make it. Really, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
extremely anxious all the time. You just gotta, you gotta
You just
push
gotta
through
roll
it.
with the punches. Well, I feel like I just lied though, because I feel like I was like, oh, I never really had anxiety, but when I was, so I guess maybe they just didn't call it that when I was or they might have called it that, but maybe it just wasn't like known back then. But when I was a kid, like I was real shy, and I don't know if that's anxiety or I just didn't fuck with people. You know what I'm saying? Like I just but I know as a kid, like, cause I remember when I started rapping and like getting to that, like you said, the live performances and performing in front of people and stuff like that. Like I had so much to say because there was so much shit I hadn't said my whole life from
Yeah,
being too shy or too nervous to say the shit. You know what I mean? I guess more like me is more nervous than anxiety. So I don't know if they're the same thing.
who knows anymore?
Cause I feel like anxiety is more like you're just I feel like they go hand in hand, but anxiety is like you could be nervous for no reason at
Yeah.
all.
Oh yeah.
Like you can have anxiety about something and be nervous about something, but anxiety could just be like you're riding down the road and like you just all of a sudden just feel like your skin's crawling and you just kind of like I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if like you feel like you're gonna get in a wreck or something, but you're not really worried about something that you know is gonna happen. It's just like all this unknown shit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like crazy
Nervousness.
stuff that won't
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, exactly. Like that, and it makes you
Yeah.
anxious. I feel like nervousness is more like you were talking about earlier. Like oh, I gotta go to school and which is anxiety too. That's what I'm saying. Like being nervous and having anxiety are kind of the same, but I feel like when you
Yeah.
suffer from anxiety, it's like that shit could just come on at any time for any reason. Anything could trigger it. It doesn't have to be like a set thing that you know. Like for instance, a fight. Like if you go to school, you know you're gonna fight somebody. You might be real nervous. You might have some anxiety, but
Yeah.
if you go to school and there's no reason for you to feel nervous other than just being nervous and having anxiety about all these like you said like alternate realities that you've made up in your head. Like that's what at least like my wife, that's how she kind of puts it. It's just like there's like a million things that you're thinking about that are pretty implausible.
Hmm.
Not impossible, but implausible. It's like most likely not going to happen, but you get fixated on them, and you're just like, it's probably gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have this happen, and that's gotta be tough, man. Cause I feel like you bring about what you think about. It was what I
Hmm.
always tell her, and she's like, I can't stop thinking about it. I was like, but you better stop thinking about it. You think about dying. I don't want you to die. So, um, have you have you any plans for like like what's your next goal, like your next album, like what's the are you just going, I know we talked about it and you were like, yo, just kind of like to let things flow and let things that, but it sounds like with this album you kind of stuck with the pop punk rap style. Do you see yourself maybe just dropping like some mixtapes or some, or as far as like maybe just some ciphers type things like that, or
Well, first and foremost, I got to get all this unreleased music out. I got so much. Um,
oh, so this album you already got this one done and you got a bunch
oh,
of other stuff
yeah, I
that
got at
didn't
least
make it.
another album's worth. So I
Okay.
got to get that out. And then I really want to focus on like I want to do an album with just like producers from Charleston and then a bunch of features from artists from Charleston. I think that'd be really cool.
Little
And
compilation.
yeah, and I want to focus on music videos this year. And other than that, I'm just kind of going with the flow. I really
Yeah.
want to just perform at a bunch of different venues too, because I've been kind of, I feel like I kind of got in a cycle of going to the same place. So I'd like to go to all the different venues in Charleston, but I'm just taking what they give me, you know.
Well, we're gonna claim it, man. Instead of saying I really want to perform at a bunch of venues,
Yes.
like, I'm going to perform at a bunch of venues this year. I'm going to drop a bunch of music videos this year, and I'm going to drop a bunch of unreleased music this year. So that's what I'm saying. That's what he's saying. That's what we saying. We gonna do all that. As far as um, your music and your music videos. What? How many are you looking to do before the year ends? Like let's set a standard for it.
Um, financially we gotta see how it goes, but cause it's not cheap to be an artist, so expensive. But I'd like to get like 5 videos done this year at least.
Oh, I like that. That's a good solid number, man. So
Yeah.
y'all look for five music videos to come out from Shayne Sanders, man. How could they find you? Like More Than Music, Shayne Sanders.
Shayne Sanders Music. It's Shayne. You gotta spell it, but
Yeah,
Shayne
you gotta
Sanders
spell it right.
Music on everything. Yeah, I'm on all platforms.
Yeah. So by the time this comes out, Dreamer, uh, your album will be out, the whole album. So they could get that Spotify, Apple, everywhere. It's going on. It's going on like that.
Everywhere. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know, man. I feel like you really let us into your mind a little bit tonight, man, and I hope that we can continue to grow, man. We can keep doing this and keep doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? I met you through Dusty, basically. How'd you meet Dusty, by the way? Before did
The first time I
was it
met,
Facebook or
uh,
social media?
I don't know if we were friends before that, but the first time I met Mason Jar was at the I don't even know what it was called. But it was at the Exquis Center.
Oh, the
That
Equi
thing.
Center. You were there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like
yeah.
a prize and everything, and I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I'll win. And then y'all walked up with a fucking band, and I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, and
But,
there was
that's
a
when I
lot
met
of people
y'all.
there that night. I don't know if I met you. I don't think maybe I did personally
I
meet you
remember
that
meeting
night.
Shayne because he was like, I'm Shayne. I was like, so am I.
Yeah.
Other than that, I know I met everybody, I think, but it was real, like,
Yeah, that was a wild night. There was so many artists there, so that was fun though, man. I think I felt like I don't know. I felt like because we had the band, it just made it like almost unfair. But
Just a little
the
bit.
dude invited it, huh?
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost did. Like I'm not going to trip on it. You know what I mean? Like I felt if I was another artist, I'd be like, oh, damn, man. Like
I'm going home.
they didn't even have to rap. The band could have just did their thing, and they probably would have won the shit without the rapper. So, yeah, I mean that's tough. But
No, I wouldn't.
the
man.
dude
I don't know.
invited us and was like, "Yo, I want y'all to come and bring the band." We were like, "You sure?" Like, you know what I mean? Like we could just come as rap. He's like, "Nah, y'all gotta." So we was like, "All right, man, we'll bring the band," and we brought the damn band. But everybody did a good job, man. Like I thought everybody did dope. You know what I mean? But it was that was a good night, man. I had a good time at that one, man. That was real fun.
It was right before COVID, I think.
I know that's when like
Right
everything
before
like
it, yeah.
yeah, it was only a few months before everything crashed out after that, man. That was terrible. So
Yep. No, that was horrible. I had a lot lined up when COVID hit.
yeah.
It was really hard to bounce back from that.
I gotta say, dude, I almost didn't let you in the studio because you wore that dumbass shirt in here. But
Oh. I grew up a Colts fan, but my best friend was a big Panthers fan, so I kind of had to root for them after he passed away, and then my son, he's like diehard Panthers fan all of a
Wow.
sudden. So
well, my aunt Shannon, she's up in Charlotte. She's a huge Panthers fan. Her whole family, they're all Panthers fan. They're up in Charlotte, and she watches all these podcasts. She texts me every time, talks about what we talk about. So she's gonna be delighted that you
That's
have
right.
that on. And Ward in a Falcons house.
Was that just because it's Atlanta? Well, that makes sense, I guess, because Panthers weren't around, huh?
Yeah, I'm an Atlanta fan. But
Man.
my dad's side of the family's all from Augusta, Georgia. So
Oh, okay.
I grew up Braves, Falcons, um, Bulldogs. So
Ugh. Nah, I'm leaving now.
yeah, now you leaving because he like the Gamecocks. But yeah,
Yes.
I'm Bulldogs, Falcons. Well, hey man, I'm the Falcons fan too. Like we can't. The Braves were what got. We've been having trouble, but I like the Hawks, but I've always been. But since like my dad didn't watch, none of my family watched basketball. I'm like the only person in my family that was played basketball, was a basketball fan. So I got to pick my own team there, and I picked the Heat when I was little, and then that sucked for a long time. But then we got D Wade. We had some good players before, like Glenn Rice, Alonzo Mourning was there. We had some good players throughout the years, but um, we won with D Wade obviously, and I was cool with that. And then LeBron came, and I liked LeBron, but then when he came to Miami, everybody started hating Miami. I'm just like, bro, like nobody even cared about Miami. Now everybody hates us, man. Go ahead and leave LeBron. But then when he left, I was like, no, don't leave LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was hard because I couldn't even wear my gear. You know what I mean? I think I talked about this with Dusty, but I couldn't even wear my gear. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, wow, like I can't
Yeah,
even
because
wear my stuff because everybody thinks I'm a bandwagon now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's the same with the Bulldogs. You know. I mean, I hate, like, you gonna really hate this, but cause I grew up in South Carolina, so I've always been a Clemson fan and a Georgia fan. So, because South Carolina is like my enemy, I'm Georgia. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I pull for y'all if we ain't playing and y'all ain't playing Clemson. Like I like to see, but for whatever reason, because I'm a Georgia fan, so I'm kind of not biased. I was so happy to see y'all beat them this year because like I was like because I like Clemson until they got good. It was weird. It's so weird with me. Like I liked Clemson when they weren't good and they were just kind of mediocre and they always I would like to watch them and be like, oh, I hope they win. I hope they win. Then they got really good I was like, oh man, I don't want them. Then they beat Georgia a couple times. I was like, oh nah, I really hate these guys, you know. So when y'all finally got the, and then like I felt so bad for y'all, man, because they was just like
Whoa.
tearing y'all up, and then y'all
Whoa.
finally got one. So thank God for that, bro.
Well, hey, well, let's remember before that, we were whooping that ass. Right?
Yeah, it's back and forth. Y'all
Five
go back
straight.
what? Y'all 110 years or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I was born into it. I'm cursed.
Yeah. Well, you said you oh man, that's yeah, me too. I was born into Georgia and Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Braves. So my brother, I don't know for whatever reason, he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna be a Miami Dolphins fan, Michigan Wolverines fan." Uh, like he got all kind of crazy teams he likes, and I'm just like, "How the hell did you end up with all that?" He likes the Suns. Like he just totally went against the whole shit. It was
all
like,
over
I
the
don't
place.
care who y'all like. I'm gonna like, and then he picked the worst teams that don't ever win, but neither do ours. So it's hard to win, bro. So, what was I gonna say, bro? I was gonna ask you something else, man. I like to ask everybody, man. What's something you would tell an aspiring artist that you wish somebody would have told you, like something not to do or something to do more of, something, just any piece of advice you could give somebody that might save them some trouble.
Um. First and foremost, you gotta have a backup plan. You know, if you think you're just gonna like make 10 songs and then be rich, you're out your mind, and it's really fucking expensive. So get a job and be an artist at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, and then also like when you're first coming up and all excited, don't fall for the the promoter run game. Like I feel like this promoter's just preying on these artists that are starting out. But it's probably in every city, but Charleston seems pretty bad. Like they just,
Yeah,
give me $100, you come perform for a chance to get a record deal with Sony. Like, come on.
yeah,
So just ignore all that, and I think just make music that makes people feel something. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what matters. Like a cool beat's fun and all that, but people forget that shit. No one's gonna forget like when they were at rock bottom,
right.
feeling like shit, and they heard your song and it made them feel good or bad. If it made them feel sad, they remember the feeling more than they remember anything else. So
That's
yeah,
great
that was a lot
advice,
of
man.
advice. It was like three different things, but
No, no, that's great advice. Stay true to yourself, man, and don't and watch out for people that's trying to take advantage of you. Especially if you're an artist
yes,
from Charleston and you're watching this, like
snakes out
there ain't
here.
nobody getting you a big record deal out of Charleston, or they would have already got somebody a big record deal.
Yeah,
You know, me personally, if I could tell younger artists what to do, um, if you're single, move, move to Atlanta,
yeah,
move to New
that
York.
too.
Like, if you don't have nothing tying you down, go where it's happening at.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the biggest supporter of South Carolina and Charleston. I hope that somebody gets big and puts this city on, because there's so much talent and so much here, but it's stuck in the past, man. It really is. Like, we don't have big venues, we don't have big record labels. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't even downtown Charleston. You can't even build a building that's more than like 100 feet high or something. That might be more than they say. So that's what's cool about Charleston is the historical value, but it's just we don't have that big market. And if you want to be part of a big market, then you got to go be part of a big market. That's no
Yeah,
disrespect to Charleston. It's a small market. So I would say that. And I would say, like, do your shows here. But a wise man once told me, man, it's like you got to be a hurricane with your music. So meaning, like, you start out right here in Charleston, that's the eye of the hurricane, and then you just you just build it up, and you go out and you hit farther and farther away, and then when it starts to kind of spin out, then you spin back in and make your way back to a show in Charleston, to some things going on in Charleston. You know what I'm saying? Do it. Get yourself popping here. Go out to Columbia. Go out to da 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 da. And when it starts to just die, then circle your way back in. So that's some advice I got from A&R a while back, a long time ago. Honestly, when I was just a knee high to a grasshopper.
yeah. Because
But
most people aren't gonna support you till they see other people supporting you.
100%, dude. 100%,
Mm-hmm.
man. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, bro. And if you get the gander to get their eyes on the goose, then the goose can fly away with the gander, the flock. So, I really appreciate you coming through, man. I know you had to drive all the way from James Island, man. I ain't gonna tell people where I live, but it's in the boonies, apparently, compared to some places. So he had a nice little drive, man. But like I said, when this comes out, the show will already be done. So his album already be out. So go check it out, man. Go get a copy. I mean, don't get a copy. See, I'm old. Go stream it. Stream it on all your platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. I could name them all off, man. Go make TikToks with his music. Go on TikTok, use it for sounds. Do that with Mason Jar Music. Like, that's another thing I should have said earlier. Like, if you want to support local artists and you got TikToks, bro, instead of using all these artists that never gonna talk to you, or you're never gonna see, or aren't from your hometown, like, show some love, man. Go find a local artist that's got the vibe, that looks good with your video or sounds good with your video, I mean, and put that on there, dude. Like, all that stuff means a lot to us whenever we see. And if you get a trend off of one of our songs, then that could shed a light on us and on artists like Shayne, man. So please support, please show your love, man. Like I said, man, I really appreciate you coming on, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I think you're a great, positive dude, man. It's good to have you on, and can't wait for the show. It'll be done by the time you see this. But like I always say, man, this podcast is about growth, man. think harder, work smarter, and if you wanted to grow, just add water. The water pod.
I like that.
Because I wake up and I'm feeling like a fuck up. A disappointment, really nothing but a let down. I get down to jump up, keep my head down, cause they love to judge us. I'm yelling, fuck it, I'ma roll another blunt up. Get a little louder every time they tell me shut up. I get high to avoid the low, so it's up, and away we go now. And away we go, I'm getting lost in the music cause it's all I know. They gon' tell me that I'm on for the life I chose.